What's up guys, Virgil here for JRPG Central, and welcome to my 10K special Q&A video. As the title suggests, and as you may have seen on the channel, we hit 10,000 subscribers here on the channel, and to celebrate, I wanted to do a little bit of a Q&A to kind of give back to you guys, answer some questions that you had about JRPGs and other stuff that's not JRPGs. I wasn't sure how long it had been since I had done one of these, until I went and looked, and it's actually been almost a year since my last Q&A, which is kind of, that's absolutely crazy to me, honestly, now that I think about it, just because it doesn't feel like that long ago. I feel like I just finished that video. When you're making YouTube videos and you're trying to build something, holy crap does time fly. Like, it does not feel like I've been doing this for 2 years now. And it's been great. I love every bit of it, but man, it's flying by. But anyway, I asked you guys on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for your questions, and you guys did not disappoint. You guys hit me with like 50 different questions, I think. So just like the last one, this one will probably also be broken up into multiple videos. And I'll also probably post some of these on my Amino page, which, by the way, if you're not familiar, Amino reached out to me about a month ago to help highlight their new stories feature on their platform. Their new stories feature is kind of like an Instagram story, except they have the quality of like a YouTube video, and they don't disappear after 24 hours. I'm thinking of using Amino going forward as like a way to post just extra content that I either don't really want to put on the channel, or some stuff that like didn't quite make the cut for a YouTube video. So be sure to check it out and let me know what you think. To download the app, just click the link in the description or the pinned comment down below. And to find my profile and the Q&A stories, just search JRPG Central and make sure to follow me and click the bell to know when I'm posting new stories. I'd really appreciate some feedback on it. If it's something you guys like, if it's a platform that you enjoy, I'll start posting content there as well. I won't be moving there or anything like that, but I'll kind of post stuff, kind of like supplementary content there on top of YouTube. Okay, on to the questions. Isaac Clark 19 asks, would you recommend Dragon Quest XI to someone new to the series? And what's your favorite Pokemon game? So first, yes, I would absolutely recommend Dragon Quest XI to someone new to the series. It's probably the best entry point. I mean, you could go for one of the older ones, and if you're into retro, specifically JRPGs, if you're into retro RPGs like that, then I think you could probably pick up something like 5, or even one of them that are remade on the DS like 5. But if you're not into the retro stuff, I think Above and Beyond 11 is the best way to go with that. As far as my favorite Pokemon game, it's either first or second gen. Probably second gen, just because it builds upon the first gen in such an amazing way. It's like the perfect Pokemon sequel. So yeah, probably Crystal. The always amazing Solcrailtis, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, said, first of all, congratulations. You deserve that and much more. Secondly, why are you so handsome? I mean, what video was your favorite to work on and why? Details to it, like the process and such. First of all, thank you. Secondly, that's a great question. For me, it's probably one of my reviews. Probably my Dragon Quest XI review. Just getting all the assets for it, recording the gameplay, getting like the screen grabs of like the old games. I did probably one of my few actual like editing jokes in that video that I actually was pretty proud of, that involved Limp Bizkit, because of course it did. But yeah, so far, probably my video reviews. Now, the one video that I talked about in my thank you video, I'm so excited to work on that, I'm just really excited about it, and that will probably surpass my reviews once I get to work on that proper. Right now, I've just kind of been working on the script. I haven't actually got to kind of dig my teeth into it. But once I get to work on that, I think that'll probably be my favorite. Luke Likes Games asks, what one thing could all JRPGs benefit from? Whether it be a design element, a personality trait, etc. This is a great question that ties into a different question that I got. I don't know if that one will be in this video. It might be in part 2, or it might be in an Amino story or something. But basically, for me, I think a lot of modern JRPGs, let me preface that, really overstay their welcome. Like the recent news that Fire Emblem 3 Houses is going to take 200 hours to complete each story, like all of the stories. Why? Like, I'm sorry, no game, no matter how good it is, I probably don't want to play it for 200 hours. Just saying. If you do, more power to you, but for me, I want to play other stuff. I want to move on to the next game. So for me, I think a lot of JRPGs could really cut back on the fat, like the excess stuff. Because there's those 200 hours, for a fact those 200 hours are not going to be completely full of meaningful content. It's going to be a lot of fluff, a lot of, probably side quests and stuff. And again, if that's your thing, that's cool. But for me, I would like them to kind of tighten it up a bit and maybe cut back a little bit. That Mick Arcade asks, now that you've developed a successful JRPG Instagram account, a fan group on Facebook, and a successful YouTube channel, what's your next goal or plan for everything? I don't know. I am proud of both my Instagram. My Instagram is what got me started. And the Facebook group has really blown up and is really, really active, which if you're not a part of and you want to check it out, just go to my Facebook page. It'll be the group connected to my Facebook page. A lot of really great guys and gals in there. But as far as what's next, I really just want to focus on the channel. I really want to focus on video content. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that. As if you follow my Instagram, you probably noticed that I don't post as much as I used to. That's partially because my focus has switched to YouTube, but also just I'm not really happy with Instagram as a platform as much as I used to be. But stay tuned on that. I will have some news in the coming weeks of what's next for the channel and what I plan to do there. The Gaming Web asks, with all these great JRPGs being remade or remastered, what are 2 games you would want remade or remastered, and for what system? I mean, my number 1 is Final Fantasy VI. I want a proper remake, even a remaster of that so bad I can't even see straight. I've always been bitter towards Final Fantasy IV, because out of the SNES Final Fantasy games, it's the one who got way more love than either of the other 2. And I don't know why that is exactly, but it's just the way it happened. It got, let's count it. It got a GBA port, a good version of that. It got a 2D remake. It got a full 3D remake with voice acting, and it got a sequel. You want to know what Final Fantasy VI got? It got a GBA port, which was great, and a really shitty mobile port. That's it. Another one that's just off the top of my head, Eternal Sonata would be a great one to bring up to PS4 and Xbox One. I believe that's trapped on PS3 and 360, and I don't think it's backwards compatible on Xbox One, so that would be a great one for Namco to bring up to PS4 and the modern consoles, or I guess about to be PS5 and Xbox 2. Turner Classic 85 asks 4 different questions, and I'm gonna pick, what is your favorite series? This is probably a really vanilla-ass answer, but it's gotta be Final Fantasy. I've been to 5 or 6 Distant Worlds concerts, and I've always loved the series since I was 13. I would honestly say I'm probably a Final Fantasy fan before I'm a JRPG fan. Final Fantasy is what really got me into the more hardcore JRPGs. As a kid, as a really young kid, I played stuff like Pokemon, and I loved Fire Emblem. But as far as more hardcore JRPGs, Final Fantasy is absolutely what got me into them. Taylor asks, what modern trends in JRPGs do you hate and want to go away? On the other hand, which ones do you love and want to see implemented more or expanded upon? The first part of your question, I want them to be shorter. I want to cut some of the fat off of some of these games. On the other hand, which ones do I love and want to see implemented more or expanded upon? This has really only applied to remasters of older games, but man, speeding up battles in turn-based games is such a godsend. In Dragon Quest VIII on the 3DS, or Final Fantasy XII, Final Fantasy X on Switch, I think got that too. Maybe I could have made that up. But man, that's something I would love to see across the board with not only any remaster, but even modern games. Give us the option if we want to speed up the battles to do so. Ty Arcus asks, are there any Switch games you're excited for, other than Dragon Quest XI-S, of course? Coming up, I'm excited for Fire Emblem Three Houses, even though I feel like I've been a little overly negative on it on the channel. I'm not even really that down on it. I think it's just I've said some things that kind of made it come across that way. That's coming out in 2 weeks. The Link's Awakening remake looks amazing. It's just the fact that game's even happening is amazing to me. The new Pokemon game, obviously, even though I have my reservations about some things in that game, I'm still excited for it. It's still 6-year-old me's freaking dream to see this game realized. So either way, I'm excited for it. And actually that, I think, transitions pretty nicely into our next question. Allie asks, what are your thoughts on the Sword and Shield controversy? Is Game Freak lazy, or do we as Pokemon fans deserve better? So this is a little complicated. I see both sides of this pretty strongly. At one point, I thought everyone was just being, honestly, a bunch of babies. I still kind of think that as far as the national dex goes, that whole thing. The graphics and animation stuff, I think that's pretty valid. It's tough because Game Freak hasn't really made a console game like this. Like, they've been used to, making handheld Pokemon games. So I don't think here's the thing. Game Freak would not go out of their way to be lazy. The people there are obviously doing their best. They're trying their hardest. Maybe they either didn't have the budget that they thought they needed, or perhaps they didn't realize how certain animations would look in an HD game like this. I don't really know. I see both sides, and I know that's kind of a lame answer. At this point, I don't really think necessarily either one is in the wrong. I would probably lean more towards the fans, because the animations are really bad, especially after they came out and said, like, oh, we're dedicating more time and resources to the animations. And then, of course, you just have the model that literally does this. I get it. But I'm still excited for the game, and I'm still going to get it, so maybe I'm a part of the problem. Hoodley asks, what's your most underrated RPG series, and why is it Wild Arms? Well, it's not Wild Arms, but that's a pretty underrated series, I would give you that. This is going to seem like a really weird answer, but I'm going to say Fire Emblem. Now, I know what you're thinking, but JRPG Central, Fire Emblem sells millions on the 3DS, and it's soon to probably sell millions on the Switch. What do you say? What are you talking about? It's underrated. It's not underrated at all. This is true, but what I'm talking about is the original Fire Emblem games, the 2D games. It seems like barely anyone played these games, Fire Emblem 7 and Sacred Stones here in the States. Seems like no one played those games. I loved them. I know like a handful of people who played them, but most people seem to cut their teeth on like the 3DS when it comes to Fire Emblem. So those two games in particular are super underrated. They're both fantastic. They're both, in my opinion, better than any Fire Emblem that's come out on the 3DS, and will probably be better than Three Houses. They're just really, really good core strategy RPGs, and they're just so good. Tamakuz asks, will you play Atelier Ryza and Fire Emblem Three Houses and do a review on them? Atelier, probably not, just because I haven't really played any of those, and I want to play the old ones before I play the new one. As far as Fire Emblem, absolutely. I'm not going to get it early or anything like that, but I'm going to get it at launch, and I'm going to try my best to do a review. If it is 200 hours, I'm not going to kill myself to finish the game and review it, but at the very least, I'll do some first impressions or something like that. And if I can get it done, I'll try to do a review too. Thom C asks, what is your favorite era of Final Fantasy, i.e. NES, SNES, PS1, PS2, etc.? So, I love this question, and I'm actually going to rank them. So, at the very top, actually, should I rank it from worst to best? Let's do that. Let's go worst to best. Worst is PS4, because all we have is 15, and 15 is terrible. Next, I'm going to go PS3, because 13 is actually good, but 13-2 not so much, and Lightning Returns, we just don't talk about that. Next, I'm going to go PS2, and to round it out, it's going to go NES, PS1, and SNES. So, top three would be SNES, PS1, NES. And for our final question of this part one, Roxas0 asks, what is your favorite PS1 JRPG, not including any Final Fantasy title? That would probably go to Legend of Dragoon. I just started that, I want to say last year. It was probably the year before. Time is crazy. And I haven't finished it yet, but I really, really loved what I played. And I really want to get back to it. I feel like I may have said this in the last Q&A. I really got to get back to this game. But yeah, love it. Want to play more of it. It's really cool just how much it takes from Final Fantasy VII. How hard it was trying to be Final Fantasy VII is just very interesting. And the characters and the story is really great. And the combat's great. It has that Paper Mario, hitting a button before an attack to kind of, make the combat a little more engaging. So I really like that, and that's probably my favorite. But yeah, that is going to do it for part one of this Q&A. I still have a ton more questions that I didn't get to, that I will get to soon. Hopefully in about a week or two, I will try to get this out. Also, I apologize if parts of the video seemed rushed, but my camera is dying and running out of memory, it looks like, so I just kind of had to wrap it up there, and I apologize for that. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
テレビに近い今しかない